What? You know what it is, boy. It's your boy Snap in the building. Listen, this is Damn the Cat podcast. This is January 14th. We are in our second week of the new year. Want to say what's up to Dr. Sands. He's in LA on an event convention. Safe travels. Can't wait to see you. We'll miss you. See you next week. I want to give out, since this is like the second year, new things. I think this is the year of growth. This is the year of truth. I definitely want to give a shout out to all my incarcerated brothers and sisters who, came into the new year in the situation that you're in. I want to give you some insight and some strength, because the last time I know I was locked up, we didn't have no cell phones. We didn't have ways to look at the internet. So I had a phone call from a friend who called and was like, "Yo, Third Snap, I like the way that you handle your business, man. You need to give us some love." Of course, I need to give you love. Nobody wants to forget about the ones who sacrifice their self to be in the predicaments that they're in. Some of them need strength. Some of them need words. Some of them need vision of how to do better. And I just want to start this show off with keep your heads up. It's going to get better. Number one, never give up. A little progress each day adds up to big results. I know as you're sitting on your bunk, whether you got your phone or your headphones and listen to the situation, I've been in that predicament before. And no, we don't want to encourage our children to even do that. I don't like saying I've been to prison, I've been to jail, which is two different things. But I've did that. It's supposed to be a rehabilitation center, but it's not, because what are you rehabilitating? Only thing you do is you get up, make your bed, which you're supposed to. Since you were little, your parents are supposed to teach you that before you even go in there. People telling you what to do in situations like that. First, I want to go on until I did two bids in my life, two and a half bids. Been in jail probably like each year prior to 10 years ago. And what changed me is the situations we go through is everybody out here has a gift of gab. Your gift of gab gets you in situations to where it betters yourself. Whether it's friendship, relationship, partnership, or businessship, it doesn't matter. When you go to a job, you run your mouth, you lie on your resume to get that job. And once you get that job, it's supposed to change. You're supposed to change. Supposed to change it to that person. Okay, let's see what he's about instead of hearing what he's about. Same thing when you're trying to get into a relationship with a girl or a guy. Once she talks to you or he talks to you and you're in, now it's time to change your actions. It's because the words what got you in, but now your actions has to change. Some of us are still out here moving off the words, energy, not putting in no action to back up on what you did at first to get in that situation. I remember this is going on my second bid. Matter of fact, it was my third bid. I took the responsibility. Who knows Snap? I've been raising my kids for over 15 years. And the reason why I took on that responsibility is because previous to that, my first bid, I lost my family, my my oldest daughter and my oldest son family. We went off because I went off to prison and went somewhere else. Second bid, I lost the mother of my two children that I am raising. So going on my third bid, I had to reevaluate and learn how to change my movements. My words get me anywhere. My gift of gab got me anywhere. But at that time, I was facing two felonies and two misdemeanors. I figured instead of the average guy will go out here and do what? Stack your bread and be like, I'm a ball until they come get me. I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do until they come get me, and then I'll be straight. Me, I had to switch up my actions. I took on the responsibility of raising my kids because I felt like the way the system is designed of me being on two felonies and two misdemeanors, I knew that at some time I wasn't going to make it. So what I did was took on the responsibility of took my children into my hands. Why? Is because I was going to give them much time that I needed in my life before I figured I would violate one of these probations and one of these situations. So I knew that I was going. I didn't believe in myself. but I believed in hustling and doing what I need to do to make sure my family was good. So once I took on the responsibility of my children, I then sat and made a plan. Started dating a couple girls, a couple. I didn't say one, a couple of girls, and started have my kids around important friends of mine and even females. Is because when I was going to plan that they was come and get me and I was going to do some time, at least they were going to be around people who I trust and can count on to raise them as I did. Started doing community service at a place called Habitat. If y'all familiar with Habitat, Habitat builds homes here in Atlanta in the inner cities and situations like that. So as I was doing community service and things like that, the woman came to me and she heard my story. Yes, I'm out here. I'm a two-time felon and I'm on probation. She knows my record anyways because I'm doing community service. At this time, my mother and my kids would come pick me up. She would meet my two kids and meet my moms and just, I was just caught up in the wrong situation at the wrong time. But I'm spending time with my kids, not even raising my kids. I am training my kids on how to live, which they do not do in schools. At this time, she set me up and she talked to me about a program or Habitat. I could be eligible for Habitat where I can have a house where I'm living out of apartment back and forth with the apartment to my mom's, trying to take care of two kids with a low-paying job, and I'm on probation because I definitely have to pay them. Really did not think I was going to make it. Later on in life, we end up doing this program with Habitat and end up building a home. Me and my mom sat and we thought. I said, you know what? It's a good plan for me. And back of my mind, just in case I don't make it, at least my children have a home, and they have somebody who I know will guide them. At the same time, I'm still training my kids just in case my mother has to take care of my kids on their own. At least my kids will be able to understand what's going on and know what to do as being a boy and a young girl in a single parent home as I was raised. Years go on by, getting jobs. And what I did with jobs was I flipped the jobs. I would go in as a regular, get cool with the management, get cool with the system, get cool with people who was above the level where they can help me get a better pay. I want to thank Robert Hubbard. He's probably watching the show, but now you understand on why I grasp you. You're learning my plan, and these are for the guys and the women who are incarcerated. We'll go on later on to that. But I dealt with him is because once he left, I was an average worker. He went on to another job to be a manager. He called me over to come to his job to be a supervisor. Left that job to be an animal manager. Then called me again, and I went over there to be a supervisor. So in that time, it helped my pay. So I hustled the people just like I did in the streets. You be around little local drug dealers or hustlers, and then until you get close to the boss. Once you get close to the connect of the boss, you're in there. So it's the same way that you have to maintain and switch up your hustle. Robert Hubbard put me in a position to where I started making money. At the same time, as I'm working and grinding, you are attracting and people are paying attention to who you are and what you can be. At this time, 2 misdemeanor probations done left. One's on his way out, one felony, and I got the big one, which is 10 years that I'll be on parole or probation. As I get out, I think it was probably the 6th year, I go and check in, and they said, well, Jermaine, you've been doing so good that you no longer have to be on probation. You're done. You're finished. You're free. I didn't complete the whole 10 years. And this is what I'm trying to tell the people out there. Yes, the community and the government, they put us in situations where we can't get out. We can get out. It's not up to the government. It's not up to nobody else. It's really up to you. You have to find your path and your way and learn to accept the denial in your life. And if you don't understand the word denial means don't even know I am lying. You are lying to yourself at times. Yes, I used to say I went to prison trying to take care of my family and all that stuff. But when I went to prison, the people who I was sacrificing for, trying to improve them and trying to help them, they did not come visit me. They did not write. They did not pay attention. They did not send me no money. That's their actions. People's actions will show you their value to you and how they feel about you. I am telling strictly the truth. You calling home asking somebody for some money while you sitting there and the government is already paying for you to even be in there. That is wrong. It is tough out here in this real world. But we understand we want that love and we want that people to help us out in there. But you're there free. Not 100% free, but you are there free. One thing you're doing is you're losing of how to teach our children about jail, prison. These are places that we do not want to send, but this is what's promoting out here. This is what trend. They don't talk about it in schools, but they're trained you for schools. The same way that you walk down the halls when you go into court or when you go into another room or you go into church. It's the same way you was walking down the halls when you was in elementary school and middle school. When you get up for lunch, you eat the same thing. Each week, you could probably count on which day you're eating goulash and the days that you're eating meat. You are wearing the same clothes that's just been washed and that's just been recycled that somebody else in that facilitation has wore. And the only time you get a brand new suit, I guarantee it. I already know. I've been there. If you got a brand new green suit, red suit, green suit, whatever color you're in, you are folding that up and putting that underneath your bed as your ironing mat, and you saving that for visitation. Those are them pretty shoes, boots that you're wearing so you can look good for visitation. Yeah, you know. Yeah, because I know. I've been there. But while you're sitting there, you are getting paid $200 and something a day for you being there. So instead of you helping you are helping the government for being there. You are giving those correction officers jobs. Continue to stay jobs. I never heard them have they're having not getting paid well. I forgot what they say when you're having a strike, because we keep going in there, and then you wonder why your kids follow you. Some of you, I knew you did not wake up and pray for some of you to be in there with your brothers, sisters, cousins, and the worst thing about it, being there with your son or your daughter. Come on. We have to do better. This is why I took on the responsibility at the time, when we said earlier, on when I had the 4 probations, 2 felonies, and 2 misdemeanors. I knew and I felt I was going back. 10 years, 15 years later, now look at me. I have 2 businesses. I have a show. I have a home that's for sale. I have another home. My daughter is going to college. My son is playing football. He's doing things. I did not give up on my family, on my children. It's because I was headed down the road again on where you're at. But they are learning from experience. They are learning from the actions. What can you do when you're sitting on your bunk right now? What can you do? You can't even holler at them right, because you're only going to holler at them for 30 minutes because you only got a 2-hour visit. That's not enough time. We have to endure our children and show them. You don't remember the first thing your teacher told you when you was young. Why? Because she did not embed it into you enough. Just saying it because you're a title doesn't mean that they're going to do it. They say out of sight, out of mind. So when you're in jail or you're in prison, you are out of sight. Sometimes you're out of mind. Why? Because you keep repeating yourself of being in there. We have to do better. It's not a rehabilitation center. It's for you to rehabilitate yourself on what you want to do in the situation you're in right now. I love being around my family. But how can I be around my family when I'm locked up in there? That's a whole new different family. When you go to prison, they tell you what to do. They tell you what you eat. Yeah, you ain't paying no bill. They tell you what to watch. So what's the difference of you coming out here, being in your home, and your wife or your husband is telling you what to do to just make you better? Learn to accept the things we are capable of doing, because stop using excuses. Where I lived at, where I'm from, I guarantee you, name down a list, I lived it. Came from a single parent from home. My dad died when I was 2 months. I came from a low income area, Poughkeepsie, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Roxbury. Those wasn't high. So I came in, I seen drug dealers, I seen shootouts, I seen everything you've seen. I done been there. But that's not the only way you learn how to hustle or survive. You have to switch your actions. Once your actions becomes trustworthy, because people are watching you, people are engaging, and people are really paying attention to what you're doing. And as I went on, my children are now on their one's on one way to college. My son's going to be a junior. But I did not go back. I didn't even believe in myself. But look where I am at now. And I was on that bunk. I was in that cell thinking, what's next for me? How I'm going to do this? How am I going to? I didn't know I was going to do it. I just did it. You have to work your work. You have to work your journey. It's just something that you have to do. Stop counting on your friends and family. When you get out, the people who are coming to see you, the people who are taking time to write, those are the ones that you need to be blessed with. Those are the ones you need to be talking to and appreciate for them giving your time. And I don't know how you survive in jail or in prison, no matter how you listening to this, but you're going to be great. I'm just showing you, after going in there 2 times, 3 times, to prison, in jail so many times, is you're bound for success. But keep going in there, it's not cool. Keep going in there, it's not right. But you have to do better. It's because this is your life. This is what will make you from who you are. This is how you change the game. You have to change the game. As we say, if you're in prison and you're going on work detail, they're not even giving any jobs no more. It's because they're giving the prisoners that come out here and they're doing it for $2.13. You're getting $10 to $13 a week for store, for going out here, getting up early in the morning, buffing the schools in the summer, hitting these little ditches, doing a little job community. So they're using you then. So if you're getting paid $13 a week just to do store, why you can't get out here and get a small time job at McDonald's or something, making $20 an hour to impress, to increase, to encourage of you're doing better? You have to start from the bottom again, not automatically jump to the top. The ones who jump to the top goes right back in. So what have you learned the first time you was in there? So you're getting pimped either way. So you have to learn to pimp the system. As soon as you come out, they're looking at you because they know 9 times out of 10 you're not used to that. So they're going to follow you and do things. You got to go to the ones who love you, who spent the time. They don't owe you nothing. Trust me, I was there, and guess what I used? When I sacrificed my first time, I did it for my family. Well, yeah, you did it for your family. They appreciated you when you was making that good money. She came to see you with the kids. But then at the end, she was moving on with someone else because you didn't change your actions that got you into the relationship that you started. But as soon as you get locked up and you get out, who's the one with the record? Who's the one who got to start all over? Can't blame your baby father. You can't blame your baby mama. You can't blame your mama or your dad to put you in a situation. It was your decision to do it. And that's just the straight point. Now that we have these internets, people out here trying to get their likes up instead of their life up. When you get your life up, Them likes will come without even nobody pushing the button. Because people will gravitate to you and say, man, I see what you're doing. Keep doing it. Those are the likes I likes, the real likes. The ones that come from the heart. Not the ones that come from the mouth. And people were still moving the same way they was moving 5, 10, 15 years ago. Start learning to be around people that's about family, not friends. You got your friends, you got your families. Those are two different things. Some people don't know what family is because they don't have a family. They don't know how to be around a family. They're not used to being around a family. They might say it, but they're not moving like it. If your best friend can be your best friend without talking, they did it by actions. All of us out here talking, running our mouths, and not meaning shit that come out of it. The truth always sits still. When you're lying everywhere. It's going everywhere. It's like a total pole in a river or a creek. It's going everywhere. But that rock is the truth. Because that rock is still, you have to come back to the truth sooner or later. You don't have to prove nothing to no one, to anyone but yourself. People are going to judge you whether you're rich or poor, whether you're black or white, whether you're driving or riding the bus, whether you're working or unemployed, whether you live in Atlanta or if you live in Atlanta or Hollywood, whether you're podcasting or a movie star, whether you're rapping or trapping, someone always going to talk about you. So if you're out here trying to get everyone to like you, everyone to accept you, it's not going to happen. The devil talks about God. God talks about the devil. Everyone has something that you're supposed to be out here competing for. Compete for your life. Those are the most important things. When you get out, change up. Of course, you're going to change up when you're in prison. You're only coming out 6 hours a day. You're only getting visits 2 hours. You're only getting mail once a week. Even for the ones who are out there doing a thing in jail, that image you still want to entertain. Why are you trying to entertain people who don't give a fuck about you in there? You can't move by yourself? You can't go through life by yourself? You always need someone to shadow you? You always need someone to hold your hand? You have to stop acting like it and start doing it. So the message was, in my story, yes, I've been on that bunk. Yes, I gave up on myself when I first took advantage of my children. But guess what? I worked my plan. I worked my journey. Without a plan, I just worked it. And look what happened. I made it happen. No one else made it happen. I put the plan together and I worked it. Sometimes it comes faster than others. Sometimes it doesn't. But you just, as I say, never give up. Fuck what happened yesterday. Yesterday get you ready for today. Today get you planned for tomorrow. We have to learn that we are the dots in the world. You're only gonna plant another dot when you've completed the dot you just finished. In order to move to the next dot, so that line can connect to that dot, then you'll be able to understand, damn, that's why that happened. That's why God did that. We have to stop moving the way we want to move, when sometimes the answer to your question is right there in front of your face. You just have to accept on what's being presented to you. If you don't accept it, that means you running off your time. You trying to make up. You trying to run your life. But if you let him guide you, it will make more sense. Like I said, if you're deaf, if I'm deaf and I move the way I move, I shouldn't have to talk to be a friend. You shouldn't have to question me about anything I do. Why? Because I move on actions, not words. Worry about what's going on in front of you inside your home. We are always at war, but we always are at war for the wrong reasons to the wrong people. You have to get your mental. It's all about mental change, learning to accept change. It is good sometimes to say, I don't know that. I've never been through that. I need help. I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't know nothing about that. It's good to say that. Everybody walking around here like they know everything, been through everything, heard of everything. If you're experienced, yes, there's a lot of things you know. But there's a lot of things I don't know. And if I don't know, I love being around children and younger adults so I can understand on where they're going and what they're thinking. You still could be 99 years old, 80-something years old, and learn something from a 16-year-old. If you don't, you're stubborn. It's because the world changes. We was in this predicament when we was growing up, and the grown folks were trying to listen to us. But look at where some of us are now, sitting in here listening to this in jail or prison, where you're paying them for you to stay there. You're not there free. That's why they want you, because you keep coming back. It got to the force of habit. When I used to go, they say, Mr. Thurston, what are you in here for? And I tell them my charge, or they tell them, don't dress him. They come to get him. They knew I wasn't staying long. That wasn't a good thing, wasn't a bad thing, but I was giving them money for nothing. They knew I wasn't going to stay long. Because if I had a lawyer, definitely would have been there. But the point is, watch your surroundings. Pay attention to the signs. Be that dot. Once you complete that dot, move on to the next dot. Life is going to connect it right along with you, and things will start making sense. You're going to lose family members. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose best friends. But sometimes it's for the good. It's because you know your character and you know who you are. You cannot force no one to be what you want them to be, or be your friend, or be your support system. Some people are there for a reason. Some people are there for a season. Know the difference between the two. Because once you get out, I guarantee the words, if you haven't been there more than a couple times, you'll be back. When your own culture tells you that once you leave out of that system, wow. They already know about you anyway. How many officers know your name before you know their name? It's just like out here in the world where they're already studying you. When I was in confinement or in prison, I just ain't hang around certain groups. And anybody who's watching the show who's been locked up with me know that. And it's the same way I move out here in the streets. I have multiple friends, multiple groups, multiple people I hang with. I don't click no gang. I don't rock no clique. I rock me, Snap Judgment. Snap Judgment, Jermaine Thurston, Snap Thirst knows a lot of people. So it's the same way when you're in jail. I hung with the people. I want to play basketball, go play with the ball players. I want to go lift weights, lift weights. I want to go with the Muslim, listen to Muslim. I hung around different people to learn different things. And wasn't captive in one-minded track mind. Never had that. Never will. That's the only way you grow. If you want your wife or your girlfriend and you want your kids and all that to support you, then you're going to have to be there mentally, not financially, and just speaking to them. Because you already gave up on them when they went to school. School's already teaching them on to walk in a prison system way. Learn to take orders in the prison system way. You have to sit here and judge your children. You got to sit here and train your children because they're already training them in school. But what are you doing to define that? No, son, no, daughter. You can't because you're locked up. You want them to feel sorry for you and want them to send you money and send, for what? So you can look good in jail? So the stories that you tell them will make you look good again. People you ain't going to see again in life unless you're going to do another crime together? You should be writing your kids, telling them you're sorry and what you're going to do in their plans. Because they're out here working. They out here getting taken advantage of. Because why? The man or the woman who's supposed to take care of is not home. Grandma's taking care of him. Grandma already took care of you. She's really done. She's not going to give 100% to raising your children like she did with you because they're not hers. They're just a part of her. And she's getting old again. Dementia's coming in. Senile's coming in. Really, the kid's going to have to take care of her. And you're taking away their teenage years of them learning itself, having fun. Let's keep it 100. I know that you're sitting there listening to this, but this is what you need. Because why I was on that side. I'm not here talking about you. It's because I see it. No, I'm sitting here talking to you because I've been on that bunk. Plenty of times in North Carolina, here in Georgia. I know how it is thinking what your kids are doing, thinking what your wife doing, thinking what your girl doing, thinking what your man's doing. What you're thinking about the wrong shit. It's because it's tough out here already. You got TV. You got somewhere to sleep. You got a meal. They out here surviving, trying to get there. Prices are high out here. Gas is high out here. Bills are high this year. How can they maintain if they sending you some bread? Learn how to hustle. I didn't smoke. First $35, $40 I got, guess what I did? I went to the store. I was the cigarette man for the ones who didn't do it. Yes, the 100s. And the honey buns. I got the most expensive stuff to get the people to make my money. I flipped my money while I was in jail. Why? Because I didn't want my family sending me money. I never called home asking. And it's vice versa. For the ones who did send you some bread, when you get out, tell them thank you. Tell them you appreciate that. I sent people some bread. They got out to act like they didn't know me. So what? It was $35. So what? It was $40. So what? It was $50. That was money out of my pocket for me to take care of my family, to take care of you when you all right. But that comes with the territory. Because I've been there. So trust me, find a way in that system. Because when you find a way in that system on how to survive without calling home, asking for some bread, for some oodles and noodles and stuff like that, then once you get out here in the real world, you'll learn how to manipulate the system. You'll get used to working for yourself, to build yourself. Because y'all just crippling them, sending them money. You asking for money when they got a light bill out there. When they're taking care of the family. Use those that use you. Call the ones that use you for some bread. But the ones who love you, man, they're already disappointed because you're already in there. And you're not there to secure the family, the system. Trust me, I know I've been there. It hurts. Because once you get out here and you turn yourself right and you do right, you get sick. You come out here and you get COVID. COVID is just like being in prison. Post, you're sick. You got COVID. See how many people will call you. See how many people will visit you. Those are the real ones, because COVID is no joke. So it's the same thing. I was out of sight, out of mind for 2 weeks. Appreciate those who called. Appreciate those who sent me groceries. Appreciate the ones who came and seen me. But before that, probably wasn't paying them no mind in my journey. But he sat me down like he sat me down when I was on that bunk as you're listening to the show. Yes, I'm giving y'all a shout out. But I'm giving y'all a shout out so y'all can stay out. They say a happy wife is a happy life. Nah, because I thought when my wife was happy family life, I got locked up, she didn't come through. And then when I got out, she was with somebody else. Maybe it's a happy spouse It's a great house. Because we're the ones out here working. We're the ones out here sacrificing. The hustlers. But remember who you hustle for. It's really for you. It's because once you get locked up, you're letting down the ones around you. Once you get out, once you're in there, learn who you are. Find out who you are. Find out what some of us really don't know who we are. And that's fine. And it's nothing wrong with that. You're not stupid. You're not retarded. You were just raised wrong. It was taught right, but just raised wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that to accept that. Don't forget denial. Don't even know I am lying. If you can't spell it, put those words in each word, denial. A lot of us are still living in denial. When you get out here, work on a relationship that is me plus you plus we equals eternity. If you got somebody who's holding you down, whether it's a male or female, and they're spending their time and they make you feel like, when you get out, that's who you should be changing your life for. We all cannot do it by ourselves. If you got the man upstairs, you got your family, everything else, it will fall in place. That lifeline, as I said before, it's a line of life, but you got to be the dots. You got to plant the dots so they can connect. You have to. Nobody's going to do it for you because they got their own dots to connect. You ain't that much of a boss where people going to put that dot here. There you go. Now, let me go work on mine. No, you got to create your own. Stop looking for handouts. Stop looking for someone to do it for you. Because then you ain't got to worry about the acceptance and the expectations of people clowning you, talking about you, which they're going to do anyway as you proceed to the top. Remember, the shit that you get into, it's all mental. Everything you get into is mental. You got to think about getting to what you're about to get into, whether it's wrong or right. So right now, you're already being judged. You're being judged by the judge. You're being judged by the people in the prison. But this is the time you have to rehabilitate yourself. Is that where you want to spend the rest of your life? It's never too late. As long as you're getting up every day, you have another day to figure it out. Now that you're there, and once you get out, yes, it's going to take a little bit longer. So guess what you created? You learned how to be patient. You learned that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next month. But as I said earlier, each day that you progress, as you don't give up and you put one thing into another, it will help. It will help. But you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how you expect everybody else to? You know what I mean? That's just facts. So just be grateful and stay humble. Because like I said, a little progress each day adds up to be great results and big results. Like I said, when I took on the responsibility of taking the ownership of training my kids, look what happened to the big results. I'm involved in a sports bar. I'm involved in a braiding shop. I'm involved in podcasting. I'm involved in music. I'm involved in other people's life. This wasn't a part of what I started. It's because I thought I was going to prison. I thought they was coming to get me. But instead of me taking the time out into the streets, taking the time out of the things I want to do, make money, I took the time of raising God's children, my children. And look what came along with it. Success. Why? Because I worked the journey. And as that was my main focus, my children not only saved my life, they changed my life. I'm there to tell them what's going to happen, even though I've been through it. One time I got locked up for a speeding ticket. My damn kids damn near cried. But the guy let me out. The police officer let me out. Why? Because I told him the truth on what happened, what's going on. Sometimes it's how you approach the situation. But I see my kids crying like, oh, man, I'm about to go. And if he'd probably processed me, one of those probations probably would have got me, and I would have been in there. Stop trying to work the system and work your journey. Because there are humans out there who are in the government who might say, you know what, he ain't too bad. You don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. As if you don't know what goes on in prison when they're talking about you and they know who you are and what you're doing. Same when you ain't talk about when the feds and they're talking about what they're going to do to you when they find you. People always behind closed doors talking about you. But when you are here showing actions instead of talking about it, your actions speak more louder than words. How you move, your posture. How you think you can walk in here and be in a place and you can walk and see somebody and say he's important? Because he's walking with confidence. He's not walking like he's the man. He's walking like you look like you. That's the same way you have to move now. You talked your way to get into where you at. Now you got to change your results. You got to change your movement. And these are facts. So think about if you sitting on that bunk. It's a new year, new mind. It's all about truth. We have to help and support each other. Support ain't always about sometimes giving out money, but sometimes it's just reaching out because all of us came from different situations. All of us do things different, but we all have the same mentality of trying to be something. Be good at what you want to be, or trying to be acceptable at whatever. Some want name, some want fame. I just want to make sure my children are straight. I'm never going to take over the government. I ain't trying to. I ain't trying to be the king. I ain't trying to be all that. But what I'm trying to do is survive and do it healthy. Because the world was here before I got here and it's going to be here when I leave. So while I'm here, I'm trying to put a big-ass footprint of when I'm gone, my legacy and my name will still ring like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and people who are passed on. Not, oh man, every time you see me, he's a troublemaker. We know you put in situations where you got to hustle, you got to find a new hustle. We know you living in a community where it's hard to get out, but you got to find a way to get out. I did. And I know I'm not the only one. Somebody that you know did it too. But their path is different. You got to make yourself a believer. Not trying to make the government a believer. Not trying to make your kids a believer. Not trying to make your parents a believer. Trying to make yourself a believer. Because when you're out here trying to impress people, you're impressing the wrong people unless you're not impressing yourself. The most important thing on a tombstone is not your name. It's not the day you was born or the day you're deceased, because somebody was born on that day. Somebody left on that day. Somebody else probably got your name if it wasn't a made-up name as we do in our culture. And it's not the words that's put at the bottom. It's because people lie. Everybody lie. That's just their feelings. The most important thing on a tombstone is that dash. How you live that dash between when you was born and when you left. That determines your legacy. Everybody in the gravesite dressed the same. They all got suits buried. They all got dresses buried. Only thing different is that dash. Live that dash. That's your legacy. That'll make you feel much better when you're moving out here in life. Because you're not caring what people say. Once you reach your 40s and 50s, you did it. You made it. As you're sitting on that bunk, count how many people who didn't. You made it. You live on their names. You carry them on. I lost important people last year. I lost my grandmother. I lost my brother. And the year before that, a couple of years ago, I lost my best friend who helped me get to where I'm at in the studio. When I'm going through situations, I had no one to call. You know why? It's because of the time they was here. I talked so much, we talked so much, that they built it into me to where I was forced to, guess what? Do it by myself. Figure it out by myself. When you learn to figure it out by yourself, It's not a wrong move. It's not a right move. It's the move. And you figure it out once you plant that next dot. Man, this is why it happened. So guess what? That lifeline's going to follow right behind you. Some of the stuff is just common sense, people. We're just ignoring it and not accepting it because we want to live life the way we want to. You're letting the internet or somebody else's influence or somebody else's life encouraging your life, getting an interruption of your life and what you need to do. I don't know how y'all listening to this or looking into this in prison, but man, it doesn't change. I don't want to go in there and find out. I've been there so many times. I'm done. But hold your heads up. You're already fighting a war outside. We ain't got to fight a war inside. Do what's best for you and your family. You didn't ask to be in that family. You didn't ask to be put in that family. But if that's your family, you love them, represent for your family. But the only time you have to represent is when you're out here. We're hearing stories of the great ones. You could become great too. But you got to work it. And you got to stop worrying about the nonsense. Build your team. You ain't got to call your team every day. You ain't got to see them every day. You really don't. And that's what people, when we're young, we fall on. I want to, iterate something I post the other week. So I don't know if y'all are prison and y'all reading it, but I just want to iterate this for you guys. It's because I know that y'all need the inspiration and need to talk. And I love you. Trust me, I love you. I know you did bad, but I know it was for the good, for the ones who did it. For the ones who did bad, can't speak upon that. Relationship, friends, and family has taught me that love isn't about saying it, I love you. It's understanding the importance of the three words. I, which is me. Love, which is I care for you. Understand that. Loyalty isn't only about being completely committed to each other, but it is also about refusing to give up on each other after an argument. If you got to define yourself from somebody's words instead of their actions, and y'all get into an argument, then that person ain't loyal to you. While you sit, and it's about, my bag, each other's faults, holding each other accountable for the situation, because it's just an agreement that two people's not a trial with. All right? Trust is not about sharing passwords and checking each other's phones. Man, we all do stuff. We all use each other to a certain extent. But when you use each other to get ahead and you use them with feelings in it, that's a total disrespect of using each other. We use each other to get to another level. That's cool. But when you use somebody for the terms of disrespect, it's not trust. But it's about sharing laughter, sorrows, and being transparent with each other. When you can sit there and laugh, we all gonna make mistakes. But it's not how you approach that person, is how you talk to them after the situation. I wasn't, talk, communicate. Please do. And it's about lasting. A relationship is not about impressing people. It's about understanding the person, their flaws and imperfection, and still love them unconditionally. I have friends who I call brothers, have friends who I call sisters. Yes, they got flaws. But their flaws don't affect the way I'm living. But if I see that it affects the way that they're living, I will pull them to the side and talk to them. Because that's what brothers and sisters do. Not share it to the next person, telling them about their flaws. A real friend, real brother, real sister, real family will pull you to the side without everybody else knowing. Because it's no one else's business. How I act around you, I might not act around someone else. But we all out here being judged like you're perfect, like you have everything going on. So instead of getting your likes up when you get out, get your life up. Getting your visits, tell the people that you love them. They're responsible that you know on if they love you back. You ain't got to hear and when I love you. That's a sign of letting them know how you feel, so you ain't got to judge. When you introduce a girl to your family, hey, this is my girl, and she ain't your girl, what's she going to say? I ain't your girl, I'm just a friend. She's going to correct it. So you have the opportunity to correct it too. Just because you love her or you claim her don't mean they got the other party has to too. But their actions will show you how they really feel about you. They ain't got to say it. Pay attention to people's posture, how they walk, how they talk around you. Till next week, man. Next week's my birthday, January 21st. So all y'all Capricorns and Aquariuses, happy birthday. This will be the third week of the new year. I hope that you are exceeding your goals. Hope you're exceeding the things that you coming into the new year with. This is a new year, new vibe, new love, truth. Till next week when Dr. Sam return, you already know what it is. Same place, same time, different topic. Damn the Cat Podcast. Your boy Snap. What up? What?